I have been thinking about the truth lately. The truth as in, I suppose, Satya, one of the yogic principles. But really, when I speak about truth, I mean about coming back to your beginning, to your true self, to that space before anything was taught you. And so, rather than striving always to tell the truth, maybe the truth is more of a peeling back of layers until you find that space where there is really no more need to appease people or to make somebody else feel better or to find a diversion by making somebody else's business your own, taking care of people that really should be taking care of themselves. And so, in that sense, I'd like to dedicate today's practice to truth and the knowledge that the heart feels at peace in that space. If you would like to join me on the mat today for this kind of animal flow, we're going to start in an all-fours position. Just getting a sense of ourselves in that pose. And then come on down to Balasana, child's pose. Really bowing to the earth, getting a sense of nourishment from the ground up as we find our breath. From here, slowly gliding the hands forward, moving into Anahatasana, puppy pose. Here we are simply bringing our heart to the ground. Again, in the gesture of humility. From here, slowly bringing the hands back, transitioning through all fours, bringing the hips forward into upward facing dog, opening the chest up. Tucking the toes for downward facing dog. This is again a very yin pose. We are looking toward the earth, taking up nourishment from down below. Finding the breath, taking up breath and nourishment from the feet up to the heart. And from here, three-legged dog or peeing dog. Imagining that relief. Coming forward, bringing the knee in between the hands for pigeon. And finding the world or finding yourself here as a pigeon. Opening the chest, recognizing the tail behind you. And looking at the world through the eyes of this bird. Slowly coming back. We're going to transition into an all-fours pose. And then bring that same knee that was in the front to the back. This is, I like to call the jaguar pose. Again, the tail is behind you. Opening the chest. On the hunt. And coming into lizard from here. Bringing the elbows in, spreading the fingers out. Looking at the world as a lizard. Coming into cow face pose here. Finding that quietness, the energy moving downward into the hip area. Just getting a sense of that space as a diamond area of the cow's head, all the way from the collarbones to the base of your tailbone. From here, bringing the legs back into center. We're going to come into a modified boat pose, pressing the heels out, pressing the fingers and hands out. This is definitely a defense pose. Imagining yourself as an animal defending your life for a moment. Slowly transitioning into butterfly. Finding the breath. Nice long back. From here, gently moving forward, elbows bent and to your sides. As if you're going for a blossom, a flower. From here, gently come on back. Transitioning. We are going to come into a half Lord of the Fishes pose. Just a simple twist. Finding the breath. And slowly coming back. Bringing the soles of the feet to the mat. Coming into a supine position from here. I'm going to place the hands underneath the hips, propping up on the elbows, bringing the crown of the head to the mat, pointing the toes for fish pose. Looking at the world from this very different angle. as you breathe. Slowly coming back into supine position. Going to use happy baby by bringing the knees toward the chest, holding on to the big toes. Just recognizing or reliving, re-understanding the poses in the body, in the mind. Slowly coming back. We're going to again come back into an all-fours position. And Balasana. Taking in nourishment from the earth. Breathing it in. Being grateful to that life force that sustains us. From here, climbing the fingers up for Anahatasana, melting heart or puppy. Presenting the heart to the earth. Slowly reaching back with the hips, coming into an all fours and upward facing dog. Presenting your heart to whatever you're facing. Finding the breath, finding yourself as a different being for a moment. Tucking the toes under for downward facing dog. Recognizing this yin pose as watching the earth, connecting with the ground, letting the energy flow upward from the earth. From here, we're going to find the three-legged or peeing dog. And then moving the knee forward in between the hands for pigeon pose. Just living this moment in that space. Spreading out the fingers, letting the elbows slowly turn inward. Finding what you find here from this point of view. Slowly coming into an all fours, coming into that jaguar position. Tail stretched back behind you. Recognizing the power of the hunter. Finding the breath. Coming to lizard from here. Again, the elbows curved in or turned in toward the body, fingers stretched out. Recognizing yourself as lizard. Finding the breath. Cow face pose. However that is attainable for you. Just getting a sense of that quiet space from collarbone to hip bones. Imagining that diamond-shaped area here. And the quiet and the silence that sits within. From here, bringing the soles of the feet to the mat. Coming into a modified half boat. Again, pushing out the heels, stretching out the fingers in this pose of defense. Finding the breath, finding that attitude. From here, slowly coming into butterfly, transitioning into a different animal. Nice long back. And slowly bending the elbows, making the way forward. As we take nectar from a flower. Like a bee, butterfly, hummingbird. Slowly coming back. From here, transitioning into a half Lord of the Fishes twist on the other side. Twisting toward the closed hip. Getting a sense of truth from this perspective. Finding the breath as we come back into a supine pose, nice and slow. Bringing the hands underneath the hips, propping ourselves up on the elbows, crown of the head to the mat, looking at the world from this position as a fish. Gills are open. Slowly come on back for a happy baby, holding on to the toes, recognizing or letting the body really understand what just went down. And when you're ready, holding on underneath your knees, coming back into a seated position. And just for a moment, finding a comfortable seat. Bringing your hands to your thighs or knees. Finding that center breath. Letting go of all those attitudes, wishes, opinions, assumptions, and seeing what's left. Finding the breath, bringing a prayer pose or Anjali Mudra to the ground for a moment, in appreciation for everything that has come from here, everything that lives here on this earth. Finding the deep breath. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope you got at least a different perspective out of this small flow. And I will see you perhaps next week. Take care.